Well, hello, hello, hello. Fancy meeting you here. I am Dr. Dream. This is the It's All Good Circle. It is Monday, March 30th. Tomorrow is April Fool's Day, so everything tonight is truth. Um, wow, I know I always start off the shows by saying what a week, but what a week. Um, it's really wild to me. I I'm and it goes along with tonight's topic really. I feel I feel like more people are going through a lot of stuff or a lot more stuff, or I've put myself out there in such a way that more people, oh, tomorrow is the 31st scale. Thanks. So I'm calendar challenged. More people are showing up in my world with some really incredible, not incredible, some really challenging stories. I don't know. I don't know what to say. But it's been wild for me. And then what goes along with this wild for me thing is that I'm learning how to go deeper healing with my clients right now. And this is deeper than I've been able to go before. It's based on the quantum frequencies. And then we're learning how to take it to the next level. But this take it to the next level thing is part of it is unearthing a lot of their stuff, and so I am, number one, incredibly honored that so many people are comfortable enough with me to go through this process. I am touched that there are so many people that are willing to go so deep in their own process, um, because it's not easy. And yet, I think the times that we're in right now are calling us forward to, like, hey, people, this is the time to, you know, get rid of that stuff, to release, to unearth it, and to look at it, and to no longer sweep it under the carpet or compartmentalize it, but to address it and do what it takes to move on. And then technology, okay, this frequency technology, this next level of it that we're exploring, that my clients are giving me the opportunity to explore with them, is it's wild, it's big, it's yeah. I'm beside myself with all of it. This week's topic, we're going to jump right into it. For the It's All Good Circle, the topic is aware, not overwhelmed. And I'm going to read the introduction to the It's All Good Circle topic after I read my musings by Dr. Dream for this week, which is called You Can Care Without Caring at All. There is a quiet weight many people are carrying right now. You can feel it in conversations. You can see it in the way people move through their days. And if you're honest, you may feel it within yourself. It's not just your life you're holding, it is everything. The news, the noise, the opinions, the uncertainty, the emotions of others. Somewhere along the way, caring has become synonymous with carrying. If you care, you should take it in. If you are aware, you should feel it all. If you have a heart, you should hold the weight of the world. But that was never the design. You were not created to carry the world. You were created to move within it with awareness, presence, and choice. There's a difference between being aware and being overwhelmed. There's a difference between compassion and absorption. There's a difference between witnessing and taking ownership. And many of us have blurred those lines without even without even realizing it. We scroll, we listen, we take in more and more information, and before we know it, our body feels heavier. Our thoughts feel louder. Our energy feels scattered. Not because something is wrong with us, but because we are carrying what was never ours to hold. Caring, so hard to distinguish these words. Caring does not require you to suffer. Awareness does not require you to absorb, and compassion does not require you to collapse. You can care deeply and still remain grounded. You can stay informed and still protect your peace. You can witness what is happening in the world and still choose what lives within you. This is where personal responsibility meets personal freedom. Because at some point you have to ask yourself, what am I allowing in? How long am I holding on to it? And is it actually mine to carry? Most of what weighs us down is not our direct experience. It is what we have taken on through repeated exposure, emotional identification, and a lack of energetic boundaries. And the beautiful truth is this: what is learned can be unlearned. What is carried can be set down. You do not have to disconnect from the world to feel better. You simply have to change your relationship with how you engage with it. You can check in without staying there. You can feel without attaching. You can care without carrying it all. And when you begin to live this way, something shifts. Your body softens, your mind quiets, your energy stabilizes. You become less reactive and more intentional, less overwhelmed and more present. And from that place, you actually have more to offer. Because a regulated, grounded, aware human being is far more impactful than one who is depleted, scattered, and weighed down. The world does not need more people carrying everything. It needs more people who can stand in clarity, in balance, and in truth. So today, take a moment. Notice what you are holding. Notice what you have taken on and gently ask yourself, is this mine? If it is not, you have permission to put it down. You can care without carrying it all. It's all good, always. So this is great. I really, there's a war going on. There's this, that, and the other, and I could list it all, and we'd probably just sink down and all need a pint of ice cream later to get through it. But the bottom line is we don't have to get caught up in all of it. Okay. Yesterday was around the United States No King's Day. Don't get me started. It is disturbing to me seeing so many people mobilized by like that, guided by a media that doesn't have their best intentions, guided by, I'll show my colors here, possibly a false narrative, and all that energy. Where else could that energy go to make things better? To assist people at the local homeless shelter, to assist at the local orphanage, the children's hospital, this, that, or the other. But no, we're going to run out into the streets and we're going to protest. But, that's the right of people. And so it is. The It's All Good Circle tonight, our topic, aware, not overwhelmed. There's a lot happening in the world right now. Information is constant. Opinions are loud. Emotions can run high. And if we're not mindful, it becomes easy to take it all in. and carry more than was ever ours to hold. So tonight in the It's All Good Circle, we are exploring how to stay aware of what's happening around us without becoming weighed down by it. How do we stay informed without losing our peace? How do we care deeply without absorbing everything? How do we remain present, grounded, and aligned even when the world feels anything but that? Tonight's conversation is not about checking out or ignoring reality. It is about learning how to stand in it with clarity, strength, and intention. Together, we will look at the difference between awareness and overwhelm, why we sometimes take on more than we realize, how to stay connected without becoming energetically entangled, and simple ways to return to your center when things feel heavy. So I want you all, this is why I read this now, I want you all to tell us, what do you do? What do you do to stay effing sane in what appears to be an absolutely insane world? And as always, this is a space to connect, share, and remember that you are not alone on this journey. Come as you are, leave a little lighter. It's all good, always. So I'm hoping that as each of you check in this evening, you'll have words of wisdom that will assist each of us in these trying times. And I wish I could say, boy, we only have to worry about this for a little while longer because it's just going to be smooth sailing from here on out. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I believe it's going to get a lot more chaotic than it already is. And more than ever, we need community like this community, the It's All Good Circle. And we need strength in sharing and being present for each other. And we all have a piece of the puzzle. So I'm very interested in what piece you have for us, Phil. Nice transition there, huh? Did I scare Phil?
Okay. You brought up some really interesting things, and I want to first, commend you for what you're doing. You've taken on something that is really, really interesting, and I can only say that from sitting back on my side and getting a little bit of understanding of what you're doing, but working with so many different people, getting, kind of going into the muck of all of it can be trying. And you really have to know how to not be engaged in it. Be the instrument, not the player. And that's not always an easy thing to do. Now, for myself, and I don't know if it's like a little bit of age or what the experiences that I've been to, I don't know. But the thing that I try to do, I mean, I'll just say this about this. You brought up this thing about people going in the streets and doing all this stuff. What people are really missing is that it's all BS, all of it, meaning both sides. And what I don't think people understand is that by taking one side or the other, they're winning, because that's what they want. They want people divided. They want people one side or the other, and that's how they get the money flows and da da da, and they get conflict, and they want people they want us all to hate each other so that they can keep going on and doing what they're doing. It's a mirage. It's nonsense. We need to come together as people and love each other and tell them where to put it. And it doesn't seem like that itself is winning at the moment. But that's where I stand, because I look at things and I go, okay, so what can I really have an impact in? Not much. the things that I can have an impact in is setting an example for the people that I'm around and not buying into all the nonsense that they want me to buy into and be a part of. I'm like, no, I'm doing my own thing. I'm running my business. I'm doing, I'm helping people wherever I can to allow everything to be okay, because that's where we have to create a vibratory frequency that changes the environment that we're asked to live in. And I don't personally think we have to live in that frequency. I think we can stand above it. And it's all a matter of mindset. I mean, there again, it comes down to the fear of dying. And we don't die. Sorry. That's not how this was, set up. God created this beautiful thing that but see, the mirage is that people start to think that this is the thing. No, it isn't. It's really hard to get in touch with who we really are. I'm not Phil Roberts. I'm another entity. I was told a long time ago that I'm Phil Roberts and that I'm this body, but that's not really who I am. And so there's, it's like I said, learning how to not be the player, be the instrument. And, or maybe I got that in reverse. Maybe you're the player and not the instrument. And maybe this is the instrument and I'm the player, and I'm, that's a whole different thing. But the topic about being aware, but not being engaged to the point of disruption. I always tell people, and I've said this a long time ago, is that when they came up with this ADHD thing, they were saying my name. And then I talked to my daughter and I said, ADHD, I said, that's a great thing. I said, you're blessed with it, because we get to do all kinds of things. We don't get stuck on one subject. We don't get stuck on one book. We don't get stuck on one topic. We're all over the board. And maybe that's what keeps me alive and well and not attached to all the nonsense, is that I don't have enough time to pay attention to it all. I know enough about it to be aware, but it's not my deal. Nobody's calling me, asking me what my opinion is. I'm just going to do my thing because I don't have time for it. There's too many other good things that we can spend our time with doing. And on Monday nights, this is one of them. Sharing with each other about what's going on in life and the good things that are going on, not all the BS and so yeah, I'll just finish up by saying that being aware is sort of understanding what's going on. And I'll tell people, I say, I'll recognize it when I see it, because I know enough about what's going on that when I see it coming, I know what it is. But I don't worry about it, because I got no control. I got control over getting up in the morning and going and enjoying my day and being good with people, my family, and I'm blessed with Clayton in my home, because I think things are bad. I go visit Clayton, and then Clayton looks at me and he goes, "And you think I got it bad? You have to wait on me." And so it's a different perspective. Everybody has their own perspective, and Clayton's happy, and I'm happy that he's happy. So, and then my daughter Lisa, cerebral palsy, walked with arm crutches, happiest person you're going to meet. She just is a joy. And she doesn't care about all the stuff. She doesn't know, she knows all about it, but she could care less, because she's out making people happy. So yeah, that's where I come from. Yeah, be aware, but don't dwell on it. Just let it go and be good with the world. It's everything. When people say, "Oh, the world's a mess," I go, "No, it's perfect." They go, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, we got to go here to get there. So we're just going to get there that much quicker because it's getting so shitty that we're getting closer to it being really good." So, and if we take that thing into consideration about everything that we are engaged with in our lifetime is where it's another step in where we're going. So this is just an experience that we're having right now that's part of where we're going. And I tend to believe that we're going to a really good place. Sometimes the road gets a little rough, but so what? Experience has told me that a rough road, it's just like some people, and they relate to athletics in what they do. And I always looked at golf. Whenever I hit a bad shot, I knew I was that much closer to a good one because it's cyclical. And everything in life is cyclical, and sometimes things look rocky, and then so now there's a lot of good stuff to believe in and be a part of. So God bless everybody, and I wish everybody well. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. Wise words from one of my elders. Um, Gail,
What do you
are
mean,
you ready?
elders?
We already know you're not who you say you are. So,
That's right.
all right, Gail, you're up there.
This too shall pass. Whether it's crazies or good times, it's going to pass. Now, that said, I want the crazy times to pass sooner. How does that happen? I stand with my feet on the ground and just let love flow through me. So maybe it's still crazy out there, as long as it's not crazy in here and in here. And it will pass eventually. So my job is to stand still, to know who I am, to let love flow. And then when the people around me get sort of crazy, I stand and I anchor in love light, and they start calming down. That's all. And if I get frazzled, I go away for a while. And I figure out how to get rebalanced and regrounded. So this too shall pass.
Thank you, Gail. I appreciate those words of wisdom. Susie, we missed you last week. So pleased that you're here this week. I'm sure you can see this topic more clearly than in the past. Let's hear from you.
It's I feel like it's a weather pattern, and that we are at the center of this storm, and that this storm is just swirling around all around us, and that we don't have to be out on the outer edges of all of that. It's like we can be that calm. Um, is it always easy to do that? I mean, we're human, and so we get knocked off balance, and I'll take a nap. But basically, I have this brand new, great big, huge TV that was given to me. And I don't know where the news channel is, and I'm not looking for it because I figure I don't have to plug in. It's like there's enough people saying little bits and pieces that I catch here and there on Facebook or whatever, and that's enough. That's enough for me to know that, hey, I woke up today, I'm breathing, I can see. Um, spring is, yeah, I mean, I have things around here that I do that make me happy and peaceful. And when the sun is shining, every sun catcher on my property just glistens in the sun and casts rainbows around. And I, it's weather. It's just like weather. And Johnny Rivers said it in a song. It's like the only thing that's permanent is change. And that's it. It's like there's always going to be the next thing that's happening. And it's like whatever's happening in the media, and it's like as soon as I hear it, it's already in the past. And so uh, I'm making an effort to be present in my life. And so taking time out to go seek out news, no, not happening. Um, the future I will pull the future in with where I am right now. And if I'm calm and stay peaceful within myself, then that's what's being called to me for my future. Um, the more the people that are out there and they're fighting and they're making a lot of noise, it's like that's what they're calling into their field. They just keep calling that frequency. They just stay in that frequency, and they're rolling around in it. And um, I don't want to do that. I learned quite a while ago that none of this belongs to me, none of it. Uh, it's a gift that I'm able to be here and play and dance and smile and be happy. And it's a gift. And I don't want to waste it anymore by complaining or, I think a sense of humor is very important right now. So, it's better than a needle in the eye. So, so I don't know. I just, I'm not watching the news. I don't think I have to do that to know what's going on. I'm aware, and I choose to stay present within myself because I feel like um, that's a better option than to listen to other people's opinions because that's what's going on. And a lot of people have opinions, and you know, I got my own. So I'm gonna just stay here. I'm gonna just live right here. And yeah, that's what I'm doing. Just mowing my lawn and painting and yeah. So that's it. That's all I got.
Thank you, Susie. I appreciate all that. We all really did miss you last week. Victoria, inner world, outer world, inner circle, outer circle, how to navigate. Let's hear from you.
Um, yeah, I agree with everything that everyone has said so far. As far as the outer world goes, it's I agree, especially with what Phil said about it being a situation where you focus on what you can influence and not focus on what you can't influence and get all wrapped around the axle, my grandfather used to say, about stuff that you can't fix, that you can't control. I mean, I think we can influence the people around us. We can certainly influence our families and friends, and we can vote, and we can, there are some things we can do, and I think we should do those things. But getting all been out of shape about the outside stuff and the news and all that is not productive. And it's also, I've got my own stuff, as you know, from the frequencies work that we've done. I've got quite a bit of my own stuff. So, and actually, I've been focusing on my own stuff, and I've learned a lot about the concept of carrying caring versus carrying in the last few weeks. And it's making a difference to be able to draw some boundaries. And I guess the whole concept, to me, the concept of putting your oxygen mask on first before you try to care for others has been a real I mean, I've heard that all my life. I know it as a coach, having worked with people. I've said it to them, but now it's my turn to live it. Is the idea of, instead of, hearing people's stuff like what you're doing with the frequencies. I mean, you hear so much stuff from people, and I have in different points of my life, and I am certainly with the EE System Center that I have, that my husband and I own now. I hear a lot of stuff that I could choose to carry. And I was having a hard time with that boundary before. I'm having less of a problem with it now. Yeah, exactly. And I think the frequencies have made a huge difference in that. I also think that recognizing that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. You can lay out a roadmap for people to follow from a health wellness perspective, but they still have to walk that path. You can't walk it for them. There's a story in the Bible about a man that had been at a healing pool for 38 years, and he was paralyzed. He couldn't walk, and but he had been at the pool for 38 years, you know, and he certainly could have scooted in 38 years. He could have scooted closer to the pool and been ready to get in it when it was the healing time. I mean, the whole idea was that you get there was like this day when the first person in the pool was the one healed. Well, you would think in 38 years he could have managed to be primed and ready. And Jesus walked up to him. He went on purpose to visit him, walked up to him and said, "Do you want to get well?" And I thought that was a great question. I mean, did he really want to get well? And I guess that's the man ultimately was healed. Jesus did heal him. He told him to get up and walk and carry his mat, and the man did. But, I mean, that kind of scenario is what I'm thinking about now, and working on with clients that come to the center. I mean, we have people that complain. I'm sure every center owner does. I'm sure you do in Whitewater, that people come and complain that the technology doesn't work for them, or isn't doing what they was told it should do or thought it should do or whatever. And you find out later that they're still drinking, they're still smoking, they're eating a ton of junk food. Well, no kidding, it's not doing, you know, I can't, as a center owner, carry their burden. They have to take some personal responsibility for it. And so I guess I'm learning that that's not mine to carry. It is mine to educate them. It is my responsibility to educate and be concerned and not turn a blind eye to their predicament. But ultimately, I can't fix them. They've got to participate in the process. And the same with my mom. My mom, Dr. Dreen knows, of course, but she's got Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, and even even in her compromised condition, she's got some responsibility. She's got the opportunity to choose her mood, at least. and to a certain extent choose her behavior. She can't necessarily choose her physical predicament right now, although Dr. Dream is changing that even as we speak with the frequencies. But you know, even she in this situation has her own responsibility in this world and each day. So I'm learning to care but not carry. I think that's a really good way to put it, like you did in your musing and in the introduction. So that's easier said than done some days than others. Not every day is easy to do that. And sometimes I do get sucked into it still, but those times are fewer and further between. So I do think, I truly do think that the frequencies are helping. And one thing I really would like to say, if any of y'all decide to participate in trying the frequencies, I think for me, one of the amazing, well, it's all amazing, like Dr. Dream was saying at the beginning. It's just, you just, wow, you just get blown away by it. But I think another thing about caring versus carrying, I think one of the things that I was not so cognizant of before working with you, Dr. Dream, on these frequencies is the effect of cellular memory in trauma and cellular memory in taking other people's stuff on, even not just things that happen to you, but what you take on from others. That's a real thing. I mean, I've read about it and I've studied it and I understood it mentally, cognitively, but living it is an entirely different thing. And so the frequencies help. They really help in releasing that cellular memory. And that, you know, some of the stuff I didn't even know I was carrying. I was carrying it and feeling the effects of it, but I didn't even realize it. And now I do. So thank you for that.
Thank you for
And
sharing.
yeah,
I appreciate you. And I mean, you brought up stuff, so I feel like I can say this. I appreciate how deep you're going with this. You're one of those people right now that are enabling me to learn within this frequency program how to go as deep as possible. And you're one of about 3 right now that have really stepped up. And it's fascinating to me. And at the same time, I shared this with you the other day, but I feel honored that you are comfortable enough with me to go to that place, because if I could do it for each and every person in humanity without them having to go there, I would, and I can't. So I super appreciate you and love the opportunities that we have. All right, I'm going to jump over to Lisa. Lisa, where are you?
I'm here.
All right, love that.
I agree with all of you who have spoke. It's wonderful how you articulate what you're going through. And one of the things that I recognize, and it really kind of hit me last week, was that because we're going through some insurance stuff and we're looking at some other insurances and finding out that they don't like us. So I needed to just let it go, as my husband always tells me, let it go. But I also recognize that I need to have my cup filled up and overflowing so that I can help others, because that overflow is going to help others instead of me being half full. And I think that was the most important thing that I recognized last week. So very short, sweet, and that's it.
Lisa, that is an excellent point and just cuts right to the core. And it's very much that piece then that Victoria alluded to about put your oxygen mask on first,
Absolutely.
and get yourself full of oxygen so you can help your child or whoever else is there. And I really love that we have some owners of EE system centers on this, because you're out there in the line of fire, as it were. I could probably think of a better statement to put it, but it is. And we've got people coming in. We have opened ourselves up to it and kind of said, okay, bring it on, bring it on. And it's not for the faint of heart or the faint of emotional, like weakness or anything. We really need to be at the top of our game and be able to stay there in order to do the kind of work that we have chosen. We've chosen this, or we've been destined for it, whatever it is. On some level, we chose it. And to be able to, to me, there's just no other option of what my life is about or what I'm to be doing. And Stephanie and I have worked hard, and we could be retired and not be doing any of this, and not the phone calls and the texts at 5 a.m. and the panic stuff and all this. And I'm like, no, I've asked for this. I can handle it. And this is what I've chosen for my life to be about, because it's what gives being here in all of this. To me, it's what gives it meaning. So I am honored to be in the presence of you, Phil, and you, Victoria, and you, Lisa, and really all of us, and for the roles that we're playing. But some of us are out there, and it's almost like a constant barrage of that stuff. And so it's nice to be able to hear your stories and to hear your perspectives. For me, because tomorrow's another day and another series of phone calls and another, thing where I hang up the phone and say to Stephanie, I've got to go for an hour drive right now just to clear my energy and be able to get ready for my next call or whatever it is. And so many of you understand that. All right, Vienna, where are you, my dear? I'm sorry that we didn't do a topic about apples, but just know that in this moment right now, you're the apple of my eye. So you are, that was the best I could do with apples.
Oh, you did good. You did good. Thank you. We'll look forward to it. I didn't bring my apple tonight, so it's all right. Well, I love all the perspectives, all the topics, and I thought at first, man, I just don't have anything to say. And then as each person shared, more thoughts came. So thank you for priming the pump. That's very helpful. I appreciate not going second or third or even fourth. This does well for me to be toward the end. I really appreciate what I've learned over the last couple of years listening to Esther Hicks with Abraham. And one of the things I've appreciated is what we have in front of us today is old news. So, like, even if I've done all the things to manifest this, whatever it is, by the time I see it, that's done. That manifestation has manifested. And then in my human creativity, that the gift that's given to us, I'm already off on the next thing. It's not in us, especially a group like this, to be satisfied in the sense of, oh, I'll just lay down here now and let life pass me by. So even with and this was one of the early thoughts. So even with the news and what's happening on the world stage, by the time it actually happens at 9:07 on a Tuesday morning or whatever, it's already old news. So by the time we hear it, it's even older news. And so we can be active about the business of creating peace in our own world, however we're called, whatever that looks like, and know that we're manifesting things that won't be seen yet, and soon enough they will. And then we'll be called to even greater and more peace and more contribution. So just not to get so bogged down that we lose sight of, it's where the news is, where the old is, where the new is coming. And then I like her terminology of the high flying disc and that idea of if we wake up in the morning, when we wake up in the morning, uh, our mind has been still, like the thing that might it lays down the previous day's stuff. And if I in the morning the first thoughts are yesterday's stuff that I laid there, then I'm off, and in 17 seconds a thought like that one comes and a thought like that one comes, and it's multiplied, and now I've set the course on my day in the first 84 seconds or some such a matter. So being mindful for me of those early moments of the day has been very helpful. So if I can, maybe I nestle into my pillow a little bit more and just, I am so content here, satisfied in that sense of it's good to be alive, it's good to be breathing. Even if I have a tingle of something uncomfortable somewhere in my body, how how much of the rest of my body is comfortable? So shifting my focus to where the comfort is rather than any discomfort that might be present. And I like to call that comfort able or comfort ability. We have that ability to put our attention. And when we talk about our pain, so that's kind of my deal, a little stop the pain book is like when we focus on what we focus on grows, right? So if I wake up thinking, "Ooh, I wonder if today is going to hurt as bad as yesterday did," then, oh, you're looking for pain today? Oh, the brain will go, I can accommodate. Gotcha. And if I go, oh, actually today I'm looking for comfort and launch off on that foot. Oh, so your right hand's comfortable. Mirror neurons. I'd like to mirror the comfortable hand today, please. So some things like that. The high flying disc, hopping on that first thing in the morning. And if I choose news, then that's a lower vibrating thing. Just saying. And then it's the effort it takes to come back up rather than not going down. And granted, there's a place for awareness. I don't know where of world news. I haven't figured out when and where to fit that in my day. And I have plenty of people who do drop nuggets to me. Oh, by the way, so grateful for, I guess, those who are willing to keep their ear to the ground. I'm glad it doesn't have to be me. Uh, very important lesson this year of caring, not carrying was with my younger son. And he'd been having depression and anxiety and different things, and he was building some separation, and just coming into his own and saying, Mom, I feel like every time you say something that's kind of funny, that you're expecting my face to smile and me to give a chuckle. And that's not where I'm at right now. And so I'm gonna stop being fake and I want you to know that it's not you. I'm just gonna be where I'm at and let you deal with it as you can. I'm not doing it to be mean. And I'm not at all feeling hopeless, helpless. Just know that. And then so as I'm driving along one day, and it's one of those adrenaline moments or, prime moments for me. I remember where I was. And so it was like, okay, how can I assist him and myself in this? Where he's my youngest. I want to help him. And it was, oh, give him his own energy bubble. I'm like, what? He's still in mine? I haven't done that yet. Ooh, oh, thank you. And so I just pictured energy bubble with me in it, me only, energy bubble with him in it. And within a few minutes, he called me. He had felt the shift. I was like, wow, how interesting is that? So I was that anything gets overwhelming, give it its own energy bubble. That's another thing I use. Um, other Esther Hicks says this, and I believe David R. Hawkins had some numbers about it, and I haven't memorized those. One person in alignment, in heart-brain coherence, has more influence than a million who are not. That's one number I've heard, but David R. Hawkins had it all figured out mathematically, as I understand. And if, Dr. Dream, if you know what that was, feel free to share it. And so that encourages me. I want to be in alignment because I want to make a difference in the world. And if I'm specifically called to go and, so a massage client, whatever, touch this person who's not in peace and let the overflow, I love the cup overflow reminder, let that peace cup overflow onto them. Lovely. All in for that. And in the big picture, and I can be in alignment while I'm doing that, just saying. But to stay in that aligned place is going to be where the influence on the big picture is the greatest, to my understanding. I also have really found for caring rather than carrying, there have been times that I've been bothered by things like you hear of accidents on the road or something. And I had a west-facing window view in my apartment in Shawnee, and I would look out over the view at Highway 7, ran past it. Traffic, 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 not LA traffic, but Kansas traffic. And I thought, since a gift I have to give is peace, I wonder if I could build a little peace tunnel in my imagination over that road on both directions. And people driving by there might just kind of go, I felt a breeze of peace, And so I did that. And then that never-ending expansion that we're privileged to participate in, pretty soon I was like, could that tunnel expand to be like the whole Metroplex, Kansas City Metroplex borders of Highway 7? And so I'm muscle checking this, right? I'm just like, could that happen? I'm like, what? Oh my goodness. And so I expanded to that. And then how many days does this last? So every Friday night, that's my pattern, is to re-up the peace stuff. And then pretty soon that wasn't enough anymore. The expansion went forward. And it was like, well, what about the other highways in Kansas City? And so then it was all the highways, and then it was all the roadways, and then it was all the waterways and airways. And now I I have capacity or whatever calling to spread that blanket of peace all over Kansas. And that's the border. That's my geographical area. That's what I have some, I don't know, jurisdiction might not be the right word, but that's the concept. So I go all the way heaven to the center of the earth for Kansas. And then for Missouri, I can do some roadways, but it's not every house business, all the other things. So that's another thing. Find out what your what your gift is and what its capacity is, and then keep expanding. That's one I've loved for caring without carrying. Um, let's see, and being consistent with it. So if I at first I maybe didn't remember to do it every week, and then I wasn't expanding, right? I was just maintaining. And so as I've been consistent with it, then I get to expand. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. So don't worry about the destination. Look at where your feet are. A little foot lamp mentioned in scripture, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path, was a foot lamp big enough to illuminate the next step and no further. So that's really all we need. So I've taken heart with that. Uh, and then expanding our capacity and bandwidth. Meetings like this, right? Communion like this, being in community expands our capacity and bandwidth. Um, I got to do a lovely little meditation for a woman whose sister had a stroke and all these things, and she'd been carrying and carrying and carrying, and we were encouraging her to care for herself. And she was like, it's just so much. And so we did a little guided meditation of we took a hike down to the Lake of Liquid Love and Light, and she kicked off her shoes and got in, and she was floating on her back, and she just let any toxins ooze out of her body into the water. And don't worry if it muddies the water. That's what this lake does. It restructures, refortifies makes it all new again. And she says, I'm done now. We came back to the shore, and I said, okay, that backpack that you put everything in before we came, that caring for your sister and the this and the that and all the things she could think of. I said, now I invite you to bring your backpack to the shore and dump the things in, however you want, one at a time, all at a time. And I said, what's happening to them? And she goes, oh, they're dissolving. And I was like, yes, that's what I had pictured. So just a, a visualization. Um, Angels, help me, take me on a journey. Where can I go, and how do I release that which I've been carrying? Because for sure we have been carrying at times. Angels, remember your spiritual team, angels, guides, whatever you've met up with for your team so far. And even remembering to ask, uh, is there anybody else available for my team? There just might be, and I hadn't thought to ask yet. Joy Harris, Global Heart Healing. This is my last thing. Uh, I think I've mentioned it before, and it falls into this category. Rather than carrying all the needs of everyone in the world, some of whom aren't ready yet, right? We can't impose, we can't, there's been some clever saying I've heard about, don't inflict a healing on someone. They'll come when they're ready. And so she releases trapped heart wall emotions. And then at the end of the little group thing where she releases one for each person in the group, then we make it available to everyone around the globe. And we just picture this energetic field around the globe and put that releasing of those heart wall emotions trapped out there. And then anyone in the world who's ready, willing, and able can reach up and take advantage of that, can participate in that. So whatever your thing is that you offer, that's I like offering some of my gifts that way. When it occurs to me, I feel like, yes, that's a thing. So that's how I care without carrying. Thank you for asking.
Thank you for all of that, Vienna. I appreciate that. I know the woman that you speak of, and I'm thrilled that you did that. Work with her. That's very good. I know she was carrying a lot, and what a beautiful thing to do. The Dr. David Hawkins numbers that you referred to, he came up with a scale of human consciousness between 0 and 1,000, with 1,000 being like Christ's Buddha consciousness. And it was stated that at 200, that was the tipping point between power versus force, which is the name of the book, actually, by David Hawkins. And one person at level 700, which is considered enlightenment, offsets, counterbalances 70 million people below the level of 200. And then as we go on up the scale, level 1000, which is where he stopped, a single avatar at the level of 1000 counterbalances the negativity, collective negativity of all mankind. So it is, I used to, in every single one of my presentations, quote David Hawkins, that we all make a difference, and how important it is to hold that. And his thing was, you don't have to go anywhere, do anything, just being that, taking that responsibility for yourself, holding wherever you're at and expanding from there changes everything in the world. So I'm super pleased that you brought that up. And now it leads me to Stephanie. And while I'm always excited to hear everyone's answers and stories and everything, I don't get to spend 24/7 with each and every one of you. There are times that each and every one of you are a rock for me, but Stephanie is always a rock for me. So Stephanie, I'm so excited to hear your perspective on this.
You beat me to the punch, Dr. Drain. 100% gonna bring up power versus force. It is the nice, like, takeaway to be like, it's okay to live my life in peace. You know, it's not my journey to get out there and fight. Like, power versus force, like, it is actually a very deep, honorable, like, noble responsibility to choose peace and higher vibration to help counterbalance the planet, right? So it's a really cool theory that I learned about, like, long after I established all my beliefs about, like, life. And it just is that nice reminder that it's okay. You know, a lot of the time the people that are mad will try to guilt you and shame you for not being mad. And it's like, it's not my responsibility to be mad. Like, if that's where you want to be in life, like, that's your choice. Like, we have free will. But for me, like, power versus force, I've actually asked somebody if they've ever heard of it the other day, because they sent me this image and they're like, it was a peace dove and everything, and it was so cool. I'm like, oh, I love that so much. It said it said you can't bomb the world into peace or something. And then I was like, I love that. One of my favorite artists has a song that you can bomb the world into pieces, but you can't bomb it into peace. So I was like, I love that. And they're like, did you get the secret message? And I looked and I was like, what? And they're like, in the wings. And the wings said F Trump in it. And I was like, okay, I'm not political. Like, I thought this was cool, but now I think it's not cool. And I'm like, have you ever heard of power versus force? And they're like, no. And I'm like, research it sometime if you feel inclined. Like, you know, might as well. Um, Phil, what you said tonight, everything just, I don't know if Phil's still here, but everything that Phil said just really resonated with me. Like, it's kind of how I live my life, you know, like, we hold a high vibration, we be happy in the face of adversity, we, like, live in love and compassion, and we lead by example and remind other people that, like, it's okay. It's okay to choose happiness and peace in a world of chaos. And more than okay, like, it's actually awesome. Like, you can be happy, you can be peaceful, like, it's okay, you can love fiercely, and you don't have to be mad. Like, it's a good thing. So it's nice to be that example. I feel like it's, you know, a good necessary thing in our communities. Another thing that I like to think about is, like, you know, technology is a gift, and oftentimes people get really, like, worked up about things that aren't actually within, like, their own reality, like within their own physical world, because of how well connected we are with technology. And personally, for me, I try to remember, like, if it's not in front of me, how much does it really matter? And, like, I don't see that in, like, a mean way, but, like, in, like, a very, like, real way. Like, you know, like, what's in front of me, like, what's accessible to, like, my actual, like, physical being, should be at the highest level, because that's where I can make the biggest impact, is like actually like right here, right now, within my reach. Uh, Another thing that I like to think about is like when I'm troubled with things that are going on in the world and whatnot, is that, I don't understand everything, and I don't need to. And just remembering that like I don't understand it and I don't need to understand everything, like it allows me to step back from stuff and not be in so much judgment about like everything's so wrong, everything's so this, everything's so that. It's our fundamental, like everything is divine perfection even when it doesn't look like it. And like, hi Bliss, hi, sorry, my dog needs a kiss. Mwah, I love you. Sometimes you just have to stop and kiss your dog because she's pawing at you. um Okay, I just got super distracted. I mean, look at this face. How do you not get distracted with that? Okay. Um, like especially when it comes to the bigger things like politics and war and stuff like that. I don't understand all that. And I'm not here to understand all that. Like I'm here to love and to be a beacon of love and to share love with all of humanity and with the planet and with like all the living creatures on the planet. And understanding politics and more is not like within my bandwidth, within my like desired comprehension. And not going there allows me a lot of peace. And again, there's people out there that try to shame me or tell me that I'm wrong for not being political. But ultimately, like that's my free will. It's my choice. It's actually my right. I don't have to be political. And then it takes me back to power versus force. Like it actually like is a good thing. And like Vienna, what you were saying, like, like we manifest. So if all of us are focusing on this terrible thing, on these bad things, like what are we creating collectively? Like, I don't want that. Like, what are you guys talking about? Like, no, like let's focus on uplifting the world and building a world of peace and, like a planet where we want to bring more life into it and where we want to, like reincarnate. I personally always want to reincarnate. Um, it was funny what you were saying, Dr. Dream, about how like the power versus force talks about the one person that's truly enlightened. I feel like we have a little like time, so I'm gonna go on like just like a little like tangent. But the one person that's enlightened, so like in Vipassana they teach of the Buddha, so it's like very much like Buddhist, and like there's always been like one Buddha at a time, like, and then Buddha dies and Buddha reincarnates, but it's never the same Buddha. And like in Vipassana it teaches that once you reach enlightenment, that's your final life, that you don't reincarnate. And I don't like that because I love life and I want to keep reincarnating, so I'm not about that. But just on that, like, I don't know, that teaching is that there's always somebody walking the earth that is at their true enlightenment phase in their soul's evolution, which is like what helps like counterbalance or whatever. Um, it's very interesting, and like there's so much to be happy and joyful of. I do like to know what's going on. I don't like to get too involved in it. I do agree and feel like there is a lot of manipulation out there. Um, what Phil said about it being BS, it's both sides. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Like it's BS both sides. So cool. I've never heard that before. I feel that way. I'm just like united we fall, divided united we stand, divided we fall. Like why is there so much division? Why is everybody got to be right and everybody else has got to be wrong? I don't understand that. I refuse to go there. I feel like there needs to be compassion and respect for everybody and where they're at and what they believe, and like compassion. If somebody believes something that I think is like absurd, I have to have like compassion and respect for like they believe that for some reason. Something was presented to them to believe whatever they believe, and like I'm not going to judge them for that, and as much as possible like staying out of judgment on reality and humanity is a really valuable thing, like Mark always says that his dad always used to say that there's nothing as ever as good as it seems or as bad as it seems. So instead of like going super high and then going super low, just kind of like ride like more of a comfortable, like, like a wave pool rather than a tsunami. Um, and it makes life a lot more comfortable. I personally like really like to like go up here, but it's just in gratitude that I'm going up there. It's not that I'm like faking out life. It's that I'm just like really appreciative for all of life. And, just going back to gratitude is like really what gives us that grounding, at least for me. And just focusing on like the good in life and sharing that with people and hoping to inspire people with it. It's really powerful. And the power versus force theory, I actually need to read the book because, and I feel like I understand it enough that I don't need to, but I would like to be able to talk about it more with people because I think it's like the coolest thing, and if we could inspire more people to step into their power instead of trying to force everything, like, wow, like, wow. So yeah, I really also love this circle. I think it's great to have a community of like-minded people. We live in like a little small, very conservative area, and we don't have a lot of like-minded community around us. Like everyone's great and everyone's like heart-based and loving and they're good people. But it's nice to be able to have weekly conversations with people that actually like think how I think. It's a really nice thing. So thank you all for being here. And yeah, I'm excited to see what next week's topic's going to be.
Thank you, Stephanie. I do so love and appreciate you. Athena Masters, we've missed you the last few weeks. I'm so pleased that you're here right now and love to hear from you.
There we go. Actually, I was listening to the other programs, but I was having trouble with my phone to participate. And now I'm in the area, in the dining area of the facility, and I'm plugged in. You can see I'm plugged in. My ears are plugged in so I can hear and everything's going well. So can you hear me? Okay, I just wanted to make sure. This was an interesting topic for me because for quite a long time now, in my room, I have my iPhone that I'm using now, and I also have a CD player that I listen to my uplifting music in the morning when I wake up. Oh, she was talking. I'm not remembering people's names. When I wake up in the morning and I become aware that I've woken up, then I start saying to myself, I am of God. I am in God. I am in God's mind right now. And other things like that to get myself centered into who I really am. And then on my CD player, it's dancing music, joyful music. God is with me, da da, and I jump around and everything like that, so that I'm in the right track there. And then I do all the stuff I have to do for my body. Going into the dining room, there's a lot of people and there's a lot of talk and there's a lot of stuff that goes on. And one of the things it says in A Course in Miracles that you just observe, you notice, you hear, but there's nothing that you take in. It's like, that's what they're doing. That's what they're saying. That's where they're at. And there's no judgment. Now, there are times when, because of who the talents and abilities that I was given, that I know what's going on with people sometimes. But I'm waiting for guidance to tell me whether or not I should say or do something. And so I've learned to step back much better than I used to. I really felt that I had to save everybody around and tell them this, and you're going the wrong way, and this is where you made the error when so and so did that. And which just used to freak people out, that how did I know these things about them to begin with? So that wasn't so good. It didn't have a good end to it. So now is it important? Do I need to? Are they telling me to? If they don't, I don't. I also don't, I really don't watch the news. I don't listen to, I do have a radio, but it doesn't get good reception anyway in the room. And because the place is, when I listen to that and get all the energy, because I feel the energy when they're talking about the war or this or the other negative things, and it takes away my peace. And then I have to cleanse myself and all of this, and it's just so much work. And frankly, very often I know what's going on anyway. It's just out here, it's not coming at me. And so I don't have to, pay attention to it. So my peace, my calm, my centeredness, and then I send, okay, just right now, I'm going to send the energy to you, BB, and I'm sending the energy to everyone who's listening to this. And I'm expanding the energy, and I'm thankful that it's going out. It's going out to California, all over the United States, Canada, down, yes, down there, over to Europe, down there to Africa, over to China, and everything in between, and all of the islands. I surround the whole world in the light of God, the blessing, the peace, the love. And so it is. I am grateful. It is done. Okay. Now I feel better. Oh, the other thing, the reason the EE wasn't for me, I asked about that. Everybody else does good on the EE machine, And I said, why? It says, you were waiting for Dr. Dream to get his machine. And you were supposed to be a part of that because you're talking to I talked to the healing unit, that. And that's what you were supposed to do. And that's why the other thing didn't work. And I go, oh, okay, that makes sense. I never thought took me a couple months to figure out to ask that question. So, and so as you can tell, I'm cheerful right now. And I've been doing more deep work on forgiveness for myself and others. I've been going very, very deep into that, going to, I go into sometimes past lives way back to separation. And I've been doing from this lifetime with the abuse, as I told everyone. I think my mother was a bulimic, mentally ill alcoholic, and my father he drank also, and he worked 6 days a week, and he didn't want to be bothered. And my mother was very vicious, and set me up on my patterns. I've had a lot of patterns that I've had to break. Self-hatred, hating God, all of this. It set me in a bad place, but I realize now that I had to come through it, because as I then changed myself and saw the love and saw God and understood things and aligned with the angels. Oh yes, the angels, aligned with the angels. That it helped humanity. And so it wasn't just for me that I did it. So now I understand that. And in that, it's given me a lot of peace. And Gail is falling asleep and leaving. I just saw that on the screen. And so I'm glad where I am right now. And I'm getting better all the time. I'm being able to move energy much more powerfully than I have ever known before. So that is wonderful too. I'm grateful for that. When I have to be in the right place, of course, to do that. I have to be in the loving right place and told to do it. And I'm no longer thinking I know something. I ask them what I'm supposed to do. So that's good. So that's about it.
Thank you, Athena. I do appreciate you so much, as you know, and also really honor the space that you're in right now. I know it's not been easy for you, and it's warms my heart that you're in such a good place right now. Okay, so this next bit before we depart tonight is important because it's about two of our own. And feel free to call in others that you know that are challenged right now. So our dear friend and circle person, Destiny, is challenged right now in the process of giving birth to her child. And so I would like for us to focus on highest and best for her and that child, and just putting prayer energy and seeing everything unfold in divine perfection. And then our other dearest, Sylvie, is challenged, as we all at times find ourselves being challenged. And I've stepped up to do everything that I can for her, and I would like us to focus our love energy on her. And I'm going to time this. I've got my timer set for 4 minutes and 44 seconds. And then also, the world is suffering, whether it's people we know or not. And let's just put it out there for everyone, and this goes back to the power versus force. This group right here, there's 8 of us left on this call right now, are incredibly powerful. So let's please take the next 4 minutes and 44 seconds for Destiny, for Sylvie, for those in our closest circle, and all those beyond. And we'll start right now. Thank you very much for that. 4 minutes and 44 seconds. That's a lot of power that we put out there. I have one last announcement. You know that I have a passion project called In the Face of Adversity. And this is a conversation I have with people that step up to share their story of the adversity that they faced in their life, and then what they found they had within themselves, what they drew on to get to the other side. Last week, I had a gentleman who lost half of his face to cancer, and he turned his life, found his purpose, and he's been helping people since then. Gail has shared her story. Susie has shared her story. I need more stories. And so please follow up with me. Let me know, you know, people that have inspired you that are on the other side of things. Go to inthefaceofadversity.com. There's a simple form there, or have them call me direct. My number is public. It would mean a lot. And I know that it's helping people. I know that people are watching these, and that it's made for people who are on the other side of whatever the adversity is, to share their story, so people that are in the midst of their adversity can find strength and hope and everything. And that means everything. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. Thank you for your prayers, your positive energy, and everything that you are, the role you play in the world, the role you play in my life. And humanity loves you as much, if not more, than I love you. And I love you one heck of a lot. You all have an amazing week. We'll be back next week with another topic that allows us to really dive in. So thank you so much. Love you all. Good night now.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dream.
Night.
Thank you. Thanks.
You see
everybody.
Athena's note, it went to 700 for 7 seconds.
I like that. I like that a lot. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Night.